the classic game room review of Test Drive Unlimited picks up where Part 2 left off. Somehow your character finagles her way out of prison in 30 seconds, no less. Early parole for good behavior. This game has a lot of great exotic cars that you can buy and drive around in and wreak havoc. But you know what else has a lot of great exotic cars that you can buy and drive around and wreak havoc? The Transformers. How much better would this game have been if you could have driven a Transformer? Because they have Lamborghinis, and in the Transformers, I'm not talking about the movie, and forget the whole Allspark, all that bullshit. We're talking about old school Cybertron, Energon cubes, Transformers. Because they had the two Lamborghinis. There was the yellow one and the red one. I think they were twins, right? And I think the yellow one was Sunstreaker. And they were always really narcissistic and self-conscious about scratching the paint. And if you were a Lamborghini, you'd probably be concerned about that as well. So you go to the different stores on the island to buy vehicles. And here we go to the Lamborghini store to buy these cars. One of them could be a Transformer. Maybe that's an unlockable option in this game I just didn't get to. Not surprisingly, you can choose from a vast array of colors. You can change some wheels on certain cars. You can adjust the interior trim on many of the vehicles. And there are tons of cars in this game. Not as many as in Gran Turismo 4, but on the other hand, there aren't 60 different used Honda Civics to choose from, and 32 different versions of the same Skyline. Most of the cool exotic brands that us boys grew up with wishing we had, like Lamborghinis and Ferraris, are in the game. TVR is here, one of my favorites. And when I was in England, every time I'd see a TVR, I'd have to get my picture taken beside it because they were my favorite cars from Gran Turismo 4. And in this game, you can drive the new one, and I just saw that on a episode of Top Gear, actually, and it looked pretty cool on the show, and it's pretty fun to drive in this game. The Nissan Skyline is here, the R34, an excellent car to drive. And sadly, one of those cars that I also don't own. The game does a nice job with this stuff, and when you buy houses, they come with these garages, and you can stock the garages full of the cars that you buy after winning all the money from driving in the races.
Your destination is 1 mile away.
Dispatch 11 to all Adam.
So if you're a car nut, this game is perfect because it rewards you for driving. The driving is a lot of fun, as I've demonstrated in the first couple parts of the review. Each car handles differently. While you're in the garage with your vehicles, you can spin the camera around them lovingly. You can check out the interior, and they've done a great job with all of this. And the details on the interiors of the car are also very impressive, and you can even check those out while you're driving. You can look down and see your character changing gears. So this game has very nice attention to detail. And if you're into vehicles, these are certainly things that you'll appreciate when playing this game. There's also a number of cars that you can download from Xbox Live. I think the Nissan was free. A couple of the other ones, like the Lamborghini Countach and the RUF, I had to pay a couple bucks for those. In addition to these cars, you can get some motorcycles. And I'm not a motorcycle driver, so I can't comment on how they handle. It's definitely very different to drive the motorcycles in this game than it is the cars. They go a lot faster, a lot quicker, as do real motorcycles. When you run into things, your character does not go flying off the bike, which is kind of disappointing. And when you get busted for running into too many things on the motorcycle, the same thing happens. They send you to jail.
No! There's so many celebrity motorcycles they could have put into this game as well. And
Two of them come to mind, of course, the first being Psy-Kill from the GoBots. Remember the GoBots? They were like the poor Transformers. I think back in the day when you'd get a GoBot, it was like, wow, look at this cheap plastic piece of crap. Then you could take your Optimus Prime toy and just crush it. You know, by back in the day, I mean, of course, last week. And then you just run over Optimus with the Hiss tank from Cobra. But that's a different story. The other celebrity motorcycle they should have had in this game is the Cyclone from Robotech. Because not only could you wear the bike, but you could blow things up with it. And that would have been a tremendous addition to this game. If the cops are chasing you, you just transform into the half bike, half robot thing and explode it with some kind of fancy robotechnology weapons. Now, did anybody else who watched Robotech always hope that Min-May would get sucked into one of the jet intakes on a Veritech fighter? Like halfway through My Boyfriend is a Pilot Now, one of these Entrati battle pods maybe trips and falls on her. Now, even though Robotech is still arguably the greatest anime series of all times, I think it would have been twice as good if they could have just somehow left Min-May in the vacuum of space.